Welcome to another episode of WLS/VSG 2020. This is my journey. And as you can see, I got a nice little handy CPAP machine here. For those of you who deal with sleep apnea, such as myself. Initially, when I went to the doctor to start going through the process as far as getting the surgery done and stuff like that, I actually didn't qualify because I didn't have any type of high blood pressure or diabetes. My BMI wasn't high enough, so she recommended me taking the sleep apnea test. I took the home sleep study, and find out maybe like a couple weeks later I had moderate sleep apnea, and so that's kind of what pushed the envelope for me. Needless to say, now being that I do drive truck for a living, of course you gotta make sure you got your medical card, your DOT card intact. Otherwise, you're not going to be driving. You're not going to be making any money. So that was a particular week where right before I was getting ready to go on vacation, before I was going to go to the Bahamas for a week or whatever, I got a phone call from, and I was on my way to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania from Maryland, doing my normal route, and he asked me to do a via, which I would have to stop in West Baltimore somewhere to drop off a set, pick up a set, and then go on about my business in Harrisburg. Well, that day or morning before, when I got off of work, because I drive nights, so I drove all night long, got up first thing in the morning, and so I got off of work and I ended up having to go right back across the bridge because that's where my orthodontist is. So, and when I got back home that afternoon or whatever, I was just tired. You know what I'm saying? And so again, they asked me to do this via, and I was in there, and I was like, I don't know, man. If it's not mandated, I'd rather not. I'd like to opt out. And my mistake was that because I said I'm a little tired. So he hesitated. The guy in Central hesitated a little bit, and he was like, well, Mr. Jenkins, if you're that tired, you shouldn't be driving. And I mean, I know my body, I know myself, we know our limitations, and I wasn't that tired. I just wanted to go straight up to Harrisburg, do my thing, and get a little nap, a little half-hour nap in before, and then head on back. Well, needless to say, I had some truck issues that night, and he ended up calling me back and saying, hey Jenkins, just go on home for the night or whatever. And I was like, yo, that's kind of weird. But to make a long story short, by me telling them that I was tired that evening, while I was on vacation having a good time, of course, when you're out on the boat, you don't have a whole lot of phone reception. I got to a certain point, I was actually in Freeport, right before the hurricane, and I get a text message telling me before I come back to work, I gotta take a whole DOT physical and this and that, all because I said I was tired. So and in the midst of it all, you know what I'm saying, they wanted me to take a sleep study test. And I'm like, all of this to come back to work, like, this is a big hindrance, you know what I'm saying? Like, I need to work, I need to make money, I done spent money on this vacation, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get back, I'm trying to fill that bag back up, right? All right, so long story short, this is when this came into play. So I'm like, well, I've already taken the sleep study test, and all I had to do was get with my pulmonary doctor and have him fax over the results to, so I can get back to work. All right, cool. And that's exactly what happened. They showed that I had moderate sleep apnea. They only wanted to give me a 90-day card, or actually, yeah, it was a 90-day card. So it was just a big nightmare in order for me to get back to work and get things going or whatever. But this thing here, they say you see a good change and and energy and stuff like that. I just, per se, for me, I use distilled water. So I mean, this slides right out the side of it. You know what I'm saying? You put your distilled water up to the fill line or whatnot. The last couple of days I haven't used distilled water. I need to go to Walmart and get some. But you make sure that's your moisture. You know what I'm saying? You got your hose. You got your hose, and you got your mask, and you want to make sure that you got a good seal on your mask. You know what I'm saying? I have the kind that, you wrap around your head. Well, let me take these glasses off. I got the kind that you wrap around your head, man. Cause the other one I tried is the one that you just stick in your nose or whatever, but I sleep with my mouth open. I snore a little bit. So you just, you put this on here. Hope y'all can hear me. And strap these on in the front. You know what I mean? And, of course it hooks up to the back. You guys can hear me? Cool. You hook it up in the back, and you're good. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm only required to get 4 hours of usage each night. I'm only required to get 4 hours of usage a night, and I do get more than 4 hours. Do I see a difference? I see a little difference. I mean, I've been using it a few months now. But if anybody is going through the weight loss surgery, you know what I'm saying, and dealing with the CPAP machine, some people, they say after you get the surgery, you know what I'm saying, it alleviates and you end up getting rid of your sleep apnea, and some people don't. I'm hoping that, mine's is going to be cured, because, I mean, I don't want to have to sleep with that all the time. I mean, some people, I've heard, I got a cousin that says, he got sleep, he had sleep apnea, but he don't have it anymore, and he still sleeps with his, because, I mean, he gets a good rest. Me per se, I just, like, say for instance, I want to travel, I want to go out of town or whatever. I mean, I got a nice little carrying bag, and I can go ahead and I can pack it up and stuff like that. But, sometimes, it just feels like you got a ball and chain. You know what I'm saying? You want your freedom sometime, and you don't want to have to be dealing with something extra. But I'm not going to say anything bad about it. I just know that the CPAP machine is and can be a good tool. I had a relative who actually passed away from sleep apnea. He was on a CPAP machine, and a particular evening he didn't have it on, and he passed away in his sleep. I know another gentleman, well, I know of him, that he had sleep apnea, and he was getting to run around or whatever, and trying to get his machine, and unfortunately he didn't get his machine in time enough, and he passed away in his sleep. So sleep apnea is nothing to really sleep on. It is something that it should be paid attention to. You know what I'm saying? And at first I was like, yo, I ain't trying to go to sleep without my machine, because I ain't trying to pass away. Like, I ain't trying to die in my sleep type of situation or whatever. But if it's your time, it's your time, man. Everybody got their number, and I don't want to live in fear. But if you have sleep apnea again, use your CPAP machine. It can be a good tool to use, and get with your pulmonary doctor after you've had your surgery, and have them check on your sleep apnea. Hopefully you can have yours cured, and I can have mine cured too. So yeah, again, this is Wink. I just want to give you a heads up and let you know what's going on, because a lot of us deal with sleep apnea and have to deal with this CPAP machine. And I want to send out a peace and a blessings and a shalom to everybody out there that's going through this journey. And man, listen, hit me with some comments, and I'll be glad to hit you back. Like, subscribe to my channel, and I'm gonna continue to give y'all updates and let you know what's going on. And peace, man. Love.